We'll call the meeting to order. If there's any questions from the public during the meeting, please send email at planning@ektwp, and the questions will be addressed during the question period. Looking for a motion and a seconder for adoption of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting agenda. Mark and Tom. Thank you. All in favor? I'll look on this screen over here. Yeah, okay, thank you. Any disclosure of interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none, okay, I need a motion for and a seconder for adoption of Planning Advisory Committee meeting minutes. Were there any errors or omissions? Okay, Linda, thank you. Tom, all in favor? Thank you. The first application we have in front of us, and with the committee's approval, we'll look at both of these new lots at the same time, and it's B24-23 and B25-23. Is it Glen Hill?
Yes.
It's at 27 Kitley, South Elmsley Town Line, Concession 1, Part Lot 28. It's to sever 2.02 hectare lots with 91 meter of frontage on Kitley, South Elmsley Town Line for rural residential use, and to retain 27.72 hectare lot with 320 meters frontage on Kitley, South Elmsley Town Line, and 200 meters on Blanchard Road for continued rural use. The zoning bylaw 1321, the severed and retained lands are zoned RU, rural zone. The severed and retained lots meet and exceed the minimum requirements for lot area and frontage in the RU zone. The county official plan, the designation is rural land, severed and retained. The township official plan is rural. There is significant woodlands on the retained lands. Sarah, did you want to speak on the official plan? And I'm not sure if there's any on the provincial policies here about that.
Yeah, so no severances appear to have occurred from the original landholding as it existed on July 11th, 1988. Accordingly, the subject property is eligible for up to 2 new lot severance considerations. Both the severed lots and the retained lot meet the minimum lot size and frontage. The lands to be severed do not appear to contain any mapped natural heritage features that warrant an environmental impact assessment. The application does not trigger the requirement for an environmental impact assessment to support the severance. The application indicates that there are no livestock facilities present or within 1,500 meters of the subject lands. There is an existing barn on the retained land that is reported as being used for hay storage. There does not appear to be a trigger for MDS calculations. I'll turn it over to you for conditions, or do you want me to continue?
Sure, you can continue.
Okay. So the township is requesting 4 conditions. One, that as 2 new building lots are to result, a cash in lieu of parkland contribution be paid to the township, a $1,000 flat payment, or the owner could have an appraisal done and contribute 5% cash in lieu to the township in accordance with the parkland bylaw. That road widening across the frontage of the severed lands along Kitley South Elmsley Town Line Road be deeded to the township to offer a total of 10 meters from the center line of the existing road allowance, and that these lands be free and cleared of any encumbrances, and that the applicant solicitor advise the township of such. The road widening lands are to be assumed as public highway by the township bylaw, and the applicant solicitor is to register the related bylaw on behalf of the township at the applicant's expense. Alternatively, if the road allowance is sufficiently wide already, the applicant's surveyor shall confirm that this is the case. That the balance of any taxes, including penalties and interest, if any, be paid to the municipality, and that all conditions be fulfilled at the applicant's at their expense.
Thank you. The only thing I would add is missing is number 6 on the official plan, and that is the section 5.2.23, where the approval for public works for an entrance out onto the road. That needs to be put in there, and made it as I've noticed it's missing. So I don't know whether the Public Works has looked at this yet or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so if Public Works has, I suggest that if Public Works has looked at this, that's one of the features that should be in here. Every time. Because we don't want to approve something that may be a problem.
Just on the, on number one. The $1,000 flat payment, I'm just wondering if we should have that in brackets, 500 each, just so that we're somebody, I'm not sure, it's the store of accountants too, but
Yeah.
just doesn't get misconstrued as $1,000 each. On the.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. It's 500.
So can you add the
Yes,
section to 5.2?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, before I send it to the committee for any comments, Mr. Glenhill, do you have any additional information or any comments you'd like to?
No, I just have one question. What constitutes an encumbrance?
It would have
There are
to be-
trees in an encumbrance?
It's a good question. It should be confirmed by your lawyer. Your lawyer would have to confirm to us there is. So they would want to do a title search or something and confirm to us.
Okay, because there's,
They should be able to.
yeah, with regards to providing, should those, I can't imagine that there's ever going to be a widened road through there. It's a great road right now. And there was a double road allowance. It was closed to a single road allowance back in '91. And there's probably about $100,000 worth of trees that would have to be removed. Here and there. With regards to if we widen the road. I don't know how that works with regards to municipal property, because the trees are on the municipal property.
Yes. Like physically widening the road, it's just deeding that. Additional, if even needed to us. At this time,
Okay, so it's just deeding,
the road, deeding that to allow for 10 meters.
okay, so if those trees are within the 10 meters, who's responsible for removing them?
They wouldn't have to be removed to deed it over to us.
No, to widen the road.
In the future, if it was ever to be physically widened,
Yeah,
it would be the township.
what,
It wouldn't be you.
for 20 years of federal work.
That's
Just on the point of what was it? Let's see. Road widening.
that's something that happens. Whether it's on the county or the township, because it gives, it basically what is access. It's no different than if somebody hydro put a pole in, right, they will,
Yeah, there's a couple of poles there where they're on.
and they usually give you a nominal fee to put your pole on your land. And that just gives them the right to go into that pole.
Just, sorry, on follow-up to that, I just had the same kind of severance where that come up with the road widening, and they'll there we go, this is the D part of it. So I'll come back to it again.
Okay.
I'll move to approve
Okay,
those severances.
any questions, Linda? No, okay. Okay, it's been approved by Mark. I need a seconder. Tom? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
So where will these amendments be made and then sent out to us, and then we can give you $1,000 and
yeah, so these recommendations, sorry, do you wanna go
Just,
ahead?
it's the survey. The survey is going to, the surveyor is gonna come now that the severance has been passed. And as it goes through the process, you have to come and survey the property to give you a deed, right? They're gonna do that in the thing, they're gonna actually do the road widening, they'll deed that for you. They'll take that piece, they'll show you on your survey that Trying to think of that, because I just went through it, and that was in my brain.
Yeah, so your surveyor, when they do the survey, they'll confirm if the road is already sufficiently wide enough. You don't need to go through a lawyer to get it deeded to us. If it isn't, then you'll have to go through a lawyer and they'll do up the transfer and send it to us, and then it'll be deeded over to us. But first your surveyor will confirm whether it's necessary or.
I think part of the survey, the land's already been deeded to the town.
And that could be possible, and then that will just be deemed, it won't have to be done then.
So it's just a condition to say if it's needed, then it will happen. If it's not needed, then we just need confirmation saying that it's already sufficiently wide enough. Okay,
So this what'll happen is this, I'm not sure if you told.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So,
that's what I was about to say. So after today, because your severance has been recommended for approval, it will go to council. And then if they approve it, it'll go back to the counties where they'll have a public hearing and then a formal decision will be created with these recommended conditions.
And then we'll hear from you.
Yes.
Go.
You'll also hear from the counties as well about their side of the meetings. And they're in a public meeting. Yes, the county should send you and CC me, the formal decision.
Okay,
Thanks.
very good. Thank you.
thank you.
Coming out.
You all have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Love Kitley Township. That's why I live here.
Thank you. We will go on to the next application, 6.2, which is B 175-22 new lot Griffith property. It's 514 County Road 1, part lots 20, 21, and 22 to section 2. Kitley. The purpose of the application is to sever a 12.1 hectare lot with 194 meter of frontage on County Road 1 for continued agricultural use, a hobby farm, and to retain 145 acre lot with 160 meter frontage on County Road 1 for conservation use as part of the expanded Lots Mills Conservation Authority land holding. The zoning bylaw 1321, the severed lands RUFP, rural zone and floodplain, retained lands RU, EPPSW, rural zone, environmentally protection for provincially significant wetlands. The severed retained lots meet requirements for lot area and frontage. On the county official plan, rural lands, severed and retained lots, and provincially significant wetlands on the retained lands. Sarah, did you want to speak on the township official plan, please?
So no severances appear to have occurred from the original landholding as it existed on July 11th, 1988. Therefore, the subject property is eligible for up to 2 new lot severance considerations. Both the severed and the retained lot meet the minimum lot size and lot frontage. There are provincially significant wetlands and significant woodlands on the subject property, which are only located on the retained lands. The severed parcel is already developed and no further development is proposed, and the retained lands are to be transferred to the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority for conservation use only. It is considered that no environmental impact assessment is required in relation to the natural heritage features on the retained lands. There are water courses on the subject property. Any development or site alteration on the retained parcel, if proposed, will be required to be situated more than 30 meters away from the water course. Floodplain lands are located at the southeast extremity of the subject lands. The severed parcel is already developed outside of the floodplain and no further development is proposed. It is considered that the floodplain does not represent a potential hazard risk. The Lots Mills Conservation Area is located adjacent to the subject lands and may hold archaeological potential. However, given that the severed lot is presently developed and the retained parcel is to be used for conservation use, an archaeological assessment has not been requested. MDS is not being requested in relation to the retained lands, as a zoning amendment is required to limit land uses to conservation use only. And I guess I should note that it is on a county road, so they'll have to get county approval for an entrance way.
Yes.
So we're requesting 4 conditions, that a new building lot is to result. That as a new building lot is to result that a cash in lieu of parkland contribution be paid to the township, a $500 flat payment, or the owner could have an appraisal done and contribute 5% cash in lieu to the township in accordance with the parkland bylaw. And that balance of any taxes, including penalties and interest, if any, be paid to the municipality. That the retained parcel be rezoned to an appropriate zoning category that restricts the use of the use of land to conservation use only. And that all conditions be fulfilled by the applicant at their expense.
Thank you. I believe Mr. McDonald and Mr. Cooper are here representing the conservation area. Is there any questions or clarification or things you want to add?
No, at this time, I mean, we wanted to attend the meeting because obviously we have an interest in the application being approved, but I think Sarah did a good job of describing the nature of the application and that the retained lands are to be acquired by the Conservation Authority. We were aware of the conditions that were being recommended, and they're very standard. We didn't really have any issue or concerns with those. And yes, it is the intent that the lands will be added to the Motts Mills conservation area and will be managed accordingly. We don't have any uses of the land proposed. It's basically going to be used as a conservation kind of restoration rehabilitation site.
Okay, I guess just before I'll ask the first question, just for clarification. Now I see in the diagram that was given, and it's beside the Bars house. There's the right of way for Rideau Valley Conservation. And now is this going to be a driveway, entrance, exit? And the reason I'm asking that is, and it's very important that it goes to the county, because I'm very familiar. That's when you're heading, I'm going to say south to north on County Road 1, you can see very well. However, when you're heading north to south, that there's a little bit of a blind spot there. So is this going to be like a driveway entrance or just used once in a while?
Dan, I'll probably have to get you to speak to that.
Yeah, it'll definitely just be like equipment access when we do projects in there. It won't be, the plan now certainly isn't to have any kind of regular visitation by either RVCA staff or the public.
Okay, thanks, because it is a blind spot there. So you might want to make a note.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure the county will notice that, Sarah. The question there about the entrance. Not so much north to south is fine. I travel, I go by it 8 times a week. So I'm very familiar with it. And so the entrance coming from north to south is kind of a blind entrance right there.
Yeah, so I guess if they go to apply for a new entrance permit, then the counties would look at it. Like it would be them that would go to the counties. I can definitely make note of it though, and
They
add it
are
to
aware of it the day that we spoke to
Yeah.
Elaine in determining whether this was actually going to be a consent application or a lot addition. They've had the counties have had extensive conversation with Victor and RVCA and are well aware of this. So,
Yeah, okay. Because I know you have the parking spot by the dam, so. Okay,
Yeah, it looks good. I don't have a problem with it. The only question I had was the third consideration, who actually will be responsible for getting the rezoning. So that's another process on top of what the process is.
so they'll have to apply. Either the RVCA can apply, it will be their lands, so
So
it'll be up to them who applies and who.
I just wanted clarity that the current property owner isn't the one who has to do the rezoning application. Has to, so it doesn't hold anything up. Okay.
you heard that, okay? Mr. Cooper and Mr. McDonald? About the rezoning?
Okay, was the question about who would be responsible for obtaining the rezoning?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dan and I have discussed that, and it is our intent that obviously we're going to take the land. So the Conservation Authority would lead that process.
Just clarifying. Any other question, Tom?
Nope, just gonna move that we.
Okay. The seconder? Mark? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot now.
Bye-bye.
Likewise.
Aye. So we have quite a few of the land division decisions. So we have 7.1, and I'm sure you've all gone through every one of them, to 7.17. Any questions from what you've seen?
We received them.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Thank you very much. So we received and filed, all in favor. Okay, thank you.
It's good that they agree with all of our recommendations.
Yes. Okay, next on the agenda is other business. Is there any other business to be?
Just, there's been a little bit of discussion with, a lot of development that we've had, and I think, coming forward, we're looking at, an OP review. And it's just something there that, you know, I mean, I think for all of us committee members on this committee, might be, you know, if there's things that you'd like to see on there, or I know one thing has come up with us several times was the number of entrances, 4 to 5 to 6 to, you know what I mean, to removing and all the different things, but it's just, that's one of the things on the list coming up, and we are, council is gonna look at an OP review, so it's just something that we should maybe start taking a whiteboard list of, or just start.
Just on that, my experience is that we, the committee, I think Linda was involved in it. I can't remember when, but I'll say 218.
Yeah.
When the official plan, the committee sat with the Novatech, and I think it's Stephen, and we went over the official plan and changes and a whole bunch of stuff with it. So we also did that with the zoning also. So I'd like to see, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think it would be good for the property advisory committee to be involved in some of this, even if it's you know, there's going to be changes. You know, maybe like you say, maybe somebody's got some other ideas. I know you want it in writing, or you know, sometimes you can't always express everything in writing. I know we talked about the roads, so
It's time to have the conversation.
yep. And I think sometimes you get all of a sudden you're sitting there, and all of a sudden something, you know, they'll say something and it'll pop in your head and you're like, oh, how about this? We officially, I mean, council approves, but we need to know everything. That's why I brought up last week about Bill 23. Because you know, if we don't understand Bill 23 and all the stuff that's going on, only what we hear on the artificial intelligence. So I just throw that in. Not saying it's a recommendation, but it's a thought. Thanks, Tom. Our next meeting is Thursday, May 18th. Was there any questions prior to the meeting or anything now? Okay.
How are we doing on catching up on the backlog? Getting close?
We are, there's a few outstanding, some more that are more complicated. But some of their agents have actually have asked to wait until the new planner is on board and not kind of deal with Novatech directly. So there's a few that are being patient on their own end, but I think Sarah's done a great job of catching up, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
We're lining for a while.
Yes.
That's the decisions.
Yeah.
That's that for decisions. We're all caught up there, and right now, all the severance applications that we've received in the county have now been gone. So really, anything new that comes in will go to the next one. So severance wise, we're
I would assume that if we had any that were ready. They would be on the agenda.
That's, yeah.
In a way.
And even like Mr. Glenhill that was here tonight, it was just last month that he did his or the week before Sarah started, that they did the pre-consultation with me and then submitted to the county. So the turnaround time is much faster. Now,
Then we'll see how Bill 23 makes out. Because currently, I think the PBS is really pencil.
yes,
You know what? Just move.
It's coming, it's coming.
Or I was gonna say an exoskeleton, and the shape has been into it.
No comment.
It's the world we're in.
Okay, seeing there's nothing on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion for an adjournment. Seconder. Okay, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks, Linda.